Welcome and thank you for joining Happy Hour Holidaze, your go-to podcast for business, entrepreneurship, and life stories. If you can build it, it will come. Today in the house, we got your host, Manny Febre. We got our co-host, Sean Febre. And today we got a rainmaker in the house, a fucking rainmaker from Tampa Bay, fucking Ryan McGuinness. One of the biggest entrepreneurs here in the area. Everybody knows this guy. We're fucking excited to have him. What's up, Ryan?
Cheers, fellas. Thanks
Cheers.
for having me on. Appreciate it.
First one to say cheers on Happy Hour Holidaze.
Well, actually, he is. First one. 22 episodes in. Holy shit.
Yeah. So, Ryan, I've been hearing about you since I was fucking partying at Jackson's, literally, a guy who put it together at a young age. What inspired you, and what's kind of your background? Because we know about Ryan McGinnis, the businessman, but let's like dig into Ryan McGinnis, the guy, to be able to have the discipline at a young age and start so many businesses and become so successful to be contributing to Tampa and its growth.
Sure, yeah, very disciplined. That's probably my biggest trait, for those that know me the longest. But backing up, I moved down to Tampa in the late 80s. My dad always instilled that business mentality on us. And just growing up, I would always follow in his footsteps, learn things from him. We would just go, about learning different things. And then my first major business experience was up in Gainesville. I went to University of Florida up there, and I opened up a pizza shop with a buddy of mine, same age, right? We were like 19 or 20 years at the time. I looking back on that, I'm like, how the hell did two 19-year-olds operate a business? But I learned more in that little saga than 3-4 years of college ever taught. Once you're responsible for payrolls and costs and all that kind of stuff, it really opened your eyes of what running a business really is.
Wow, man.
Interesting. What did your dad do? Because he instilled this business mentality into you. So was he an entrepreneur as well? Was he a business owner?
Yeah, absolutely. His whole life he was. He's 76 now, so but he still rocks and rolls. I mean, I talked to him yesterday. He was driving to Miami to buy a car and drive it back up to Ocala where he lives. He's crazy. He's 76 years young, I should say.
There you go.
But yeah, so he was involved in real estate, and back in New York, he had electronics store and other businesses back there. But his latest thing down in Tampa, when in the 90s and early 2000s was home building and real estate.
So is that where you got the want to be in the real estate market? Because you are a hard money lender right now, correct?
Yeah, just business in general. And I think just my life naturally took me to lending because I love it. I love the business. I love the product. But he kind of taught me those skills, generally speaking, and then I kind of just found what fits to me.
For the people out there, what kind of lending loans do you give out? Those hard money loans, you put points on top and then a percentage down?
Yeah, so real estate, it's asset-based lending, our company, right? So we're not doing any credit underwriting. We're not pulling taxes, income verification, a lot of the things that would be associated with conventional lending or possibly be any other hard money lenders. We're strictly just what is that asset worth? And then depending on the product type, whether it's a home or land, we're 65, 70% of that value that we can lend.
Do you lend on the rehab?
We do not. As a lender, that's where you can get yourself into trouble, right? Relying on that, that person. You give them that front money to do the rehab, and they go to the Hard Rock or they meet you at Jackson's one night instead. It definitely happens. So we never want to put our capital at risk that way.
So essentially, you're just lending on the property. And I always have this question for hard money lenders: are you hoping that they foreclose on that loan so you could just pick up the property, do whatever you want with it, maybe rehab it, and then sell it? For profit, because essentially you're making your money back and then some if you did that, right?
You got a good point, but my background prior to lending was flips and construction. I got out of that and more into lending because I don't want the headache of flips. So I don't want to take somebody's property and deal with the same issues I was dealing with that. We have a really good business that we've scaled up on lending, and we have over 250 active notes. So we kind of just stay and do our own thing and work with our borrowers. The last thing we want to do is take that property back. We really, really try hard and work with them through whatever the resolution is.
Walk us through from as soon as did you exit the pizza shop in Gainesville?
I did.
Okay. So do you mind sharing how much you exited it for?
So that's a story in and of itself. So it was the last real estate boom, the early 2000s before the 08, 07 peak. And we had a lease and they wanted to buy us out of our lease And how I started that business is it cost $100,000 to buy the pizza place from the old guy. So on my side, I got $10,000 from 5 different people, and then my partner did the same. So we went out and kind of just organically borrowed it. Well, they wanted to come in and buy out our lease, this big corporation, and it was enough. I forget what it was back then, but we were going to walk with like $150,000, so pay off our investors and have $50,000. And back then, that was like $1 million, right?
Yeah,
like we were kids.
So like 25 each. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Which again, it's maybe not a ton in these days, but it was a lot of money at the time. Well, we went to close, and that wasn't the deal. It was like barely enough. I don't recall exactly, but barely enough to even cover my lenders. And we had a successful business. So I'm like, why would I close my shop and start ground zero when I had a successful thing? Yeah. So we actually went to court, and it was a big multi-million or billion-dollar corporation versus these 2 little kids in Gainesville. And they kicked our ass in court. We went all the way through. They basically beat us on a technicality saying that our lease wasn't enforceable. Like it was like one page wasn't signed. It was some BS technicality, like getting away with murder, and you beat it somehow. Yeah. That's what they did to us. So I thought my life was over then, right? I owed people $50,000 on my side minus whatever we had paid them, and I thought life was over. And you get back up and you keep going. And that's what I learned from that.
Is that when you moved to Tampa after that, or
no? After that, I started working for a healthcare company. Okay. In Gainesville. It was a friend of mine, Robert, owned it, and got back up and started doing that. The Tampa transition was my older brother, Kevin, had a hedge fund, and this was around 2007, 2008, and they were killing it. For many years, they were killing it, like average of like 40-something% annual return to their...
Investing in REITs? Or?
No, unrelated to real estate, mostly index options, so stock market, equities-based, options-based, things of that nature. So I came down. He's like, you got to come down, work with me. I come down 07, 08, and the world ends, right? Like, yeah. So he closed shop at his hedge fund. He lost all of his money in a couple weeks. Really, really tough time. So I make this transition thinking, okay, I'm going to do something big here. And then the next step is, on my ass down here, and he's on his ass. And, he's my older brother. I always looked up to him. And, we have worked together ever since. So it ended up being a good move. I'm not making pizzas anymore. And
that's for sure.
Yeah. So God forbid the pizza shop would have worked out and, I'd be slinging 500 pies a day or something. It would be tough. So.
Is that when you rebounded to flipping homes then? So were you wholesaling, or what happened after that?
Yeah. So I had one more transition where I was trading bonds and options, and that was my first probably real money, making good money. But
this is 07, 08, right?
Yeah. That was about 09 now.
09. Okay.
So we saw value in real estate. I had another friend, Justin, and he's like, hey, we've been flipping these houses. People are putting up the money, and we're doing a 50-50 split with them. Maybe you should try to raise some capital for this. And I did a couple deals with him, and things went really well. And I kind of just like, hey, we could do this on our own. So that's when we started doing the flips and construction and really raising capital for real estate purposes. And that, that transition on into the lending. But flipping homes is tough business, right? Oh, yeah. Everybody's fighting for the last dollar. You got people stealing from you left and right. There's just headache after headache after headache. That's tough.
How were you raising the capital?
Friends and family.
Family?
Yeah, and small
you weren't going
amounts.
out there to strangers and saying, hey, we have this deal. Here's a presentation. This is how we're going to do this. This is going to be how much you make, or
not really. I've had good relationships with all the people that I've done business with. It's more just smaller, organically grown. I'm not really good on PowerPoint presentations or anything like that. I'm not good with all that stuff. I'm not the kind of guy that just, showcases and puts a suit on. I mean, this is really dressed up for me. Normally I'd be in gym clothes right now. So it was really just small family and friends and building those relationships with those people. And if they do one deal and it's successful, and just keep going on from there to build that relationship.
I know you want to ask a question.
Yeah, I know. I was like, fuck, man, give me a second. No, what I wanted to ask you, Ryan, like between flipping and building straight from a plot of land, what did you feel which one was more lucrative? And then also which one was tougher at the end of the day? I mean, I know they're equally kind of tough because you got the county that you got to deal with, but it seemed like building from scratch is a little bit more lucrative than just doing the flips, right?
It depends. Building from scratch, you probably know your costs a lot more. In a flip, you come in and you're like, hey, it just needs a roof. Well, now and the foundation's shot, right? And there's a lot more unknowns in that. So you could enter into a flip thinking that it's going to be very profitable, but a lot of times, almost always, there's hidden surprises or things that happen. Whereas new construction, while during COVID there was crazy inflation in prices and things that you couldn't really know or control, you kind of had a little bit more knowledge of the budget going into it. And hopefully, a better timeline of things from there.
It's funny you say that about the flips because a buddy of ours, he purchased a home. Him and his business partner purchased a home. They thought, okay, this is going to be in and out really quick. Turns out that they needed to redo the pool. They needed to redo, the entire interior, the plumbing. You know what I'm talking about,
the
right?
structure, everything.
Yeah, everything, bro. To the point all the way to the studs, man.
Yeah.
And they were into that house for about 18 months before they got out. As soon as he got out, he was like, oh, hallelujah, man. It feels so good to just get that ball and chain off, man. So I could see where new construction is, quite profitable, but isn't new construction also a heavier timeline than it would be to rehab a house? I mean, because you're dealing with permitting, you're dealing with a lot of other issues. So do you enjoy building new homes, or is that...
I don't.
No.
That's why I'm in lending now.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, a new construction home, hopefully you're 6 to 12 months on the build. A flip, if you get into a quick flip, it could be 30, 60 days that you're ready for market, right? So it really just depends on what that particular deal needs. But it is you could flip much faster if things go as planned or anywhere close to as planned. But I can tell you in all my deals, hundreds of deals, I've never had one go on time or on budget, and anyone that I've lent on, I've never seen one of those go on time or budget, right?
Jeez.
So
I'm
it's
curious,
tough.
are you seeing an influx of more people going after hard money now that the interest rates are rising in America? Do you see more people just going after hard money to do whatever flips they're doing as opposed to going through traditional lending? Have you seen more customers?
Absolutely. So there's a couple different reasons for that. Us personally, with RPM Realty, we've just seen organic growth, right? So obviously we're going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Also, when rates were 3 and 4 and 2 and change %, we've always been 12% annualized on our notes, right? So 2 years ago, when somebody was like, oh, I can go to the bank and deal with their hassle and deal with their 30 to 60 day underwriting, but hey, I'm saving a lot of money. Now rates are, 7, 8, 9, 10. SBA, I think, is even into 11, and we're 12 still. So now it's like, call Ryan, get a deal funded in 2 days. Nobody's pulling my credit. Nobody's pulling my tax returns. Nobody's checking my bank statements. Why wouldn't you do that versus having to deal with a bank for 30 to 60 days? So we're seeing a ton of new business because of that. Also, the third reason is banks are tightening up, definitely, right? So a lot of products are either eliminated or they're under a lot more scrutiny. So things that banks used to offer, they're not even offering that anymore. Or their minimum, if it was a 720 credit, is now a 760 credit, or this or that. And bank lending is all about checking a box. It doesn't necessarily even make sense to protect the bank. It's that employee of that bank can check this box. We're all about just protecting our money. So we can do a very creative deal, take equity from another property and do this. However, all we want to do is make sure us or our lending partners at the end of the day are protected. I don't care about checking a box. Did the guy have a job for the last 6 months, right? If he's got $1 million in the bank, I don't care if he's unemployed. I feel good about that person. Whereas a bank may not be able to lend to that person unless they have had a job for a year or 2 years. So there's a lot of details there.
What are the qualifications to get lent money from Ryan McGuinness?
So absolutely.
RPM.
Or
Yeah,
RPM.
either way,
I'm
either
sorry.
way.
Well, I mean RPM. What does RPM stand for?
Ryan Patrick McGinnis.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm into cars too, so it works out with RPM on that, rotations per minute. But yeah, so we're just an asset-based lender. So again, we're not looking at anything with the borrower. Zero. We're never pulling anything on you. It's what is your property worth? So really, we just need to determine that either ourselves or through an appraisal, and we can lend up to that 65, 70% threshold of that property's value.
So then 30% down?
Yeah, minimum 30%, sometimes 35. If it's raw land, it's 50% down. So it just depends on the product.
Do you
type.
see a lot of people buying raw land?
Usually with the intention of doing something on it, right? So they'll use us to secure it, and then at that point, they'll develop it or do what they're going to do, or maybe it's for their own property, right? They're gonna ultimately build a home for themselves. So they'll use us just to get it quickly, purchase it, and move on.
Do you guys when does the loan balloon? Is it after a year or?
A 2-year balloon. So a lot of private lenders are 6 or 12-month balloon, which kind of puts people under the pressure, right? They think they're going to get in and out of a flip and it's going to be done in 6 months. Well, shit, your balloon hit now what? Or they're trying to charge you extra fees for that. So we put it at 2 years, but with no prepayment penalty. So if they want to pay it off in 3 months or 23 months or 24 months, it's all the same. There's no fee to exit the loan at that time.
So when you say 12% annualized, does that mean $12K on 100?
Yeah, per year. So it's 1% per month. So if somebody's borrowing $100,000, their payment on that loan is $1,000 per month. If they're borrowing $1 million, payment on that loan is $10,000 per month. So it's whatever the principal is, they're paying 1% a month interest.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's not expensive at all.
I mean, I think it's fair.
Yeah. And when it came to starting this is all your capital, or is this capital that you raised or made over time?
He says he's got lending partners.
Begged and borrowed anywhere I could. Yeah, we've always had a good relationship, again, with our lending partners.
Yeah.
So as the fund grew, now we have over 90 million in active loans today. That it was probably 60 million last year. So we're rapidly growing. But everybody we've made money with for the last 10 years is like, hey, I want to do it more. I want to do it more. I want to do it more. Especially as the stock market gets shaky. I think globally there's issues that are going to come to fruition soon, right? The economy is slowing down. Yeah. So these people that were making money in every asset class before, whether it be, real estate, it could be crypto, it could be cars, it could be watches. There was nothing you could buy in 2021 blindly at any price and not make money on it. It didn't matter what it is, right? Yeah. And people are really, realizing that that's not how life is.
So $90 million, 1% of that is $900,000 multiplied by 12 months. Damn, dog.
Not all mine.
No, but damn.
What's your take now with the real estate market? Where do you see it going in the next 3 to 5 years? Pointing on real estate and then also the interest rates.
And do you think the administration is any upcoming administration can have an influence on it?
Sure. So I think, things are definitely slowing down. I mean, the raise of interest rates to where they're at, 7-8% for conventional, I think sellers are in a position where they're waiting to see what happen. But ultimately, people are going to have things in their life where like, hey, we got to get this property sold. That's when the price cuts are going to come in. And obviously, comps are going to start going down. I think Tampa and Florida, I think we're insulated from that a lot. Like a lot of people are still moving here. I wouldn't want to own property in like a California or New York because you're going to have the macro effect of the economy. But then also people are just leaving and not a lot of things, or they make it too prohibitive to do business in those states. Where Florida is still like it's all open. They want our business and guns are slinging around here still. So hopefully we don't see too much of a downturn.
Yeah.
But a cycle in real estate is natural and normal and should happen. If you're in your early 30s, you only know an upmarket, low interest rates. It's like we've had over a decade of unrealistic things that are just happening. So it's okay to have higher interest. It's okay for property values to go down a little bit. It's okay for the stock market to go down. But again, if you're in your 30s, you think, no, I just buy anything at any time and it goes up, which is not reality.
No, it isn't. And I mean, between 2020 and 2021, like you were saying, even maybe kind of flooding into 2022, you buy a property. I mean, we had a broker on here that said that almost, 85 to 90% of people have like 60% equity in their property from just that boom right there.
Sure.
So eventually those people are going to be like, hey, it's time to sell. And now I'm going to try to buy something else. So when we get back, we'll continue the conversation with Ryan McGuinness on some of his other ventures that he's have. So we'll be right back. And we're back to Happy Hour Holidaze, your go-to podcast for business, entrepreneurship, and life stories. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions for Ryan, we got multiple platforms where you can ask him questions about hard money or any of his businesses. So going to Motor Enclave. I know a lot of people
right there off of I-4 and 75.
I-4. What is that?
So it's a automotive community.
Okay.
There's about 300 car condos. So people, you actually have a condo there. You have your cars. You have everything you want there. But on site, there's a 1.6 mile F1 style racetrack.
Holy shit.
There's acres and acres of off-road course. So if you have like side-by-side Can-Ams, things like that, you can haul ass off-road as well. They're building an amazing event center. I think it's 37,000 square feet. People will have their weddings there. Things unrelated to just in a normal event hall. But Brad approached me. He's the founder of it. He did a similar community.
Brad who?
Sorry, Brad, if I screw your name. Olashansky, I believe is how you say it. But
so you're invested
Investor.
in it.
yes,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
He approached me probably coming up on 4 years ago now, maybe, and he had success with one in Michigan, but like everyone else, wanted to be in Tampa, wanted to be in Florida, so came down and pitched, some of the guys down here on investing in the project. To get a project like that off the ground, I don't know how he did it. I don't have the brain power for that. I mean, dealing with all the government agencies of trying to put a racetrack in the middle of Tampa. It's a pretty wild feat that he got it off the ground like that.
Yeah, and I mean, if we think about it, like Tampa doesn't have one.
No,
They don't.
No,
They're the closest ones, like in Bradenton, I think.
yeah, and
That's like a quarter-mile track.
yeah. The closest,
That's all it is.
the closest road course. I used to take my car down to Sebring, right, which is a 2-hour drive. It's in the middle of nowhere. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
There's nothing around there. You would never go other than, to race. No offense to anybody in Sebring, but and the thing, the nature of a race car, things happen, right?
Yeah.
So you trailered up the night before. You go down there, and some stupid thing breaks. You got to trailer it all the way back. You just wasted half a day or a day doing this stuff. Here, I roll out of the garage. I race. I come back. If I blow something, I put it right back in the garage and deal with it later. And don't have the nuance of taking it down there.
Hey, Ryan, you compared the Enclave to something off air, remember? You called it a country club?
Oh, yeah. It's very similar to a country club, but instead of having a golf course, you have a racetrack. You have a couple of racetracks, right? So
That's pretty dope.
a lot of people like golf. I don't really particularly, but, they go to the golf course. They have their clubs. They hit their golf, and they come off, and, they have the banquet hall or do whatever they want to do, clubhouse and all that. So it's very similar to that, but instead it's motor enthusiasts, and there's going to, they have a Vegas resort style pool. There'll be a lot going on there other than, just like a golf course community would have a lot of stuff.
So there's a membership, like
what's the fee?
Yeah,
like
is it so the condo? When you mean a condo, it's for the car?
it's
right?
like a garage,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, and
it's like
you can build a bedroom in there and have showers. I mean,
Oh, sure.
I got a couple partners on my unit, but it's going to be a really nice unit. It'll be for entertaining. So it's not just a garage. Some people will build, so you get it and it's a blank slate. Some people just want a garage and they'll leave it that way, which is nothing wrong with that. And some guys are, I think one guy bought 10 units in there and combined them all. It's going to be pretty crazy.
How many units are there?
There's 300 original, so probably 270 now that some people have combined. We got a double unit and combined it into one because I have 3 partners on mine.
So could people literally Airbnb their unit if they did? They did, because I mean, you're thinking, hey, let me put a bathroom, let me put a bedroom in here,
And here's the racetrack.
Yeah, there's the racetrack. I mean, like
yeah,
you
I don't
said.
know about the restrictions with the HOA there, and also they're not residents per se, so that's a technical question, but I'm not sure.
That's a great idea, though.
Well, only because I think with golfers, I mean, people stay all over the world to go play golf at this course, and there isn't a lot of these. I mean, how many would you say across the United States there are? Of something like this?
Not many. I think, and you're starting to see them pop up now. I think Atlanta, they're building one. There's a out in Nevada. I've raced at that one. There's a few, but not many at all. Not many that have actually came to fruition.
And this is for a different income class then, because in order to, what is the membership fees like over there? Just give us a roundabout number, not something that's set in stone.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, it's very similar to a country club with golf. It's around $50,000 or $50,000 initiation, and then there's an annual fee after that. Oh, wow. So it's not unlike a golf course community in that regard.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's exactly like a country club. There's an initiation fee, and then you got to pay monthly dues.
Exactly.
Is that how it is at the Enclave? Yeah.
And then you got to spend money on the entertainment, so you have to go down to the bar, drink, and
then you got to buy a race car too.
So are they like, most of the people they might have like a Lambo or a badass Corvette Z06 or something like that, or are they like legit fucking race cars?
A lot of Porsches out there, a lot of Vets. Those are both really good cars for the money. I race in something called a Radical, which is like an open wheel car. Okay. So if you saw it, you'd be like, damn, that's like a race
like
car
an
for sure.
F1 car.
Yeah, very similar looking. Super low. If you drive it on the street, you'd crash the front bumper on a curb like in 2 seconds. Like it's like this much off. But yeah, there's a whole variety. So you can really run what you want. That's up to everybody's budget and whatever they want to do.
Who's got the track record?
I don't know because the timers aren't up yet. There's some really good drivers out there. Yeah.
Is it multiple drivers going? Like, let's say they race.
Assume it's just
like
one.
There's just one.
No, they let you out, and then based on there's 3 classes. So, a level 1 driver there'll be a pace car out there, and you're following him and going around the track to until your good level 2 is on their own, and then level 3 you can bring a passenger with you. So there's different levels to it, and they kind of group you to like levels.
And I'm sure, I mean, on everyday life, I mean, you get approached with a lot of investment opportunities. I mean, you've definitely turned down probably quite a bit of it too.
Sure.
But most of the time when you do invest in something, it's something that you enjoy, kind of like the
motor enclave.
Yeah, the motor enclave.
That's the reason I did it. Anytime I go away from what I know with the real estate lending space, I end up kicking myself in the ass because it turns into a headache and it doesn't make the returns that we make in the real estate. But I had enough passion for cars, right? I'm very passionate about that. And I was like, okay, this could work out. And I hope the investment works out too. And it has been a huge success, and we got very lucky. And, I think initially they were going to do like 3 100-unit phases. And they just said, all right, we're building all 300 at once now because the demand, there's maybe 5 units out of 300 left, which nobody could have predicted the demand for that.
And not only that, but the motor enclave is still not fully constructed, correct?
So the building, like my building, is fully constructed. We own our unit. It's done. Out of, I think there's 14 buildings, I would say probably half are fully complete, and then the rest will be turned over in 2024. The racetrack's fully done. The off-road is fully done, and then the grand opening of the event center is in January.
So once you do the membership, obviously the car condo garage is a separate cost. I mean, how much are these things running for? Just like the actual.
Is it like
condo?
Buying a piece of property?
Yeah, it's just like buying a condo.
Really?
Yeah,
so
it
has a title and everything. Oh,
100%. Yeah, you own that unit.
You own the land though, or
no, just like a condo. Yeah, a condo.
It's
just literally just like a condo. They were initially starting, in the low hundreds of thousands, and now I think one of the units that is still available that comes pre-built out a little bit is more than $1 million. So they're in that range.
How much did the first one sell for?
I think the cheapest one initially, day one, was like 200 and something thousand. But even that same unit now is probably 500,000.
That's what I was about to say. Can they sell it to somebody?
Yeah, once you own it, it's just like a condo. You can do what you want with it.
That's a pretty good little investment there.
So our particular unit, because we got an end unit and it's right at the end of the straightaway with balcony. It's probably almost tripled the value from when I got in at day one to where it's at now. It's up.
Is
triple.
it cash only purchases or?
So actually we offer financing for them. I know the product, I know the unit. So RPM would finance a unit in there, and we have. But I'm not aware of any banks. I think initially some banks were talking about doing it, but it's one of those products that kind of disappeared. As bank get scared, they back up from things like that.
What kind of people are joining this country club for Raceway, right?
Yeah.
Are they millionaires? Are they car enthusiasts? Are they business owners?
Probably a little bit of everything. I think it's going to be great networking. Since the events haven't been built yet, I've only gotten to meet a few of them a handful of times. But anytime I have met them, they're super nice guys. Usually probably 40s or 50s, 60s, a little bit older. Than me anyways, but they've been really nice, and I'm sure good connections, business and personal will come from that once I start hanging out in there.
Yeah, once the event hall gets, started, there's going to be a lot more mingling between everybody. I mean, it's going to be nice.
Well, I was going to
There's still no bar, right? There's still no bar or restaurant still
Correct.
to eat. Okay.
Correct. There's not. It will be in January, and I don't know when the pool's opening because that'll have a bar as well. Okay. But that should be early next year.
Since it is private, is there any opportunity for the general public to go out there, buy tickets, and maybe go to these events?
Sure. So I'm aware of 2 different ones. I think it's a company called Extreme, is a third-party company that kind of rented track space from Enclave, and they have their own, I think, Ferraris, Lamborghinis that you buy and do a few laps. Then Adrenaline, I believe, is the Motor Enclave's own brand, where you come and you use their cars as the public. And then they'll have opportunities like this Sunday is member guests. So I'm a member. I can have up to 4 guests in their own cars.
Oh my God! Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't got anything that'll drive in that shit?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so you do have to bring your own car, but there'll be a lot of opportunities. Porsche had their 75th anniversary there.
Wow.
So Pirelli just had a big event there. So there'll be a lot of events, but it's not just like it is a private club. You can't just go there as a public generally.
Gotcha. So moving on to your next another venture that you have was the meat market. Definitely
Another
one. So definitely been there, and I know you started off with the pizza place. So
Yeah.
I mean, you had a little bit of passion for hospitality, you know.
Passion or a hate?
Really? I done hospitality.
They're similar.
Yeah. To be honest with you, when I was approached for that, it's a small investment, but when I was approached by that, I was like, damn, I hate the restaurant, you know. But I looked at it as a social aspect. I was living in Hyde Park at the time, so I could walk there. And knock on wood, fortunately, it was a great success. Nobody could have predicted the success of it, or even Hyde Park in general, right? It kind of timed it where, Hyde Park's a destination now. Years ago, you wouldn't go to Hyde Park to hang out. Maybe you go grab food there, but there's so many restaurants, so many people hanging out, there's bars. So it's really up and coming for sure.
Yeah, it's a nice area,
Well,
too.
Hyde Park's been nice since I can remember.
But there wasn't that many exclusive restaurants. Like they got Tampanos, they got meat market.
Don't they have a Michelin star restaurant in Hyde Park?
No, that's Roca over in off Palm Avenue.
Where's Lilac at?
That's Edition, downtown Water Street.
Okay.
So going back to most of the restaurants here in Tampa, I know you've been here for a while now, Ryan. What would you say is one of your top favorite ones besides meat market? But what would you say is some of the ones that you really like that you go to pretty often on like Friday, Saturday nights?
Eddie V's?
Eddie V's isn't bad. Yeah, I got some buddies that work there too.
Yeah, that's where I go on my Thursday night. Instead of Burger King,
Council Oak, I think, has a really good steak at the Hard Rock. Yeah. They make everything a hassle there, but other than that, it's a good spot to be. But yeah, there, if you just stroll around Hyde Park, I mean, Midtown is really starting to have some good destinations too. Yeah. So you can kind of go down there, have some drinks, have some dinner.
I mean, do they though?
Yeah, Pont, and then what do they got? Sally Mar on the rooftop. It's nice this time of year. Have you been down there lately?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we went to walk-ons. I think it was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, Midtown's cool, but talking about Council Oak, just to bring this back, I want to show you guys this. It is now officially legal. The Hard Rock app is back online, bro.
I've seen that. I'm doing a family.
This is insane.
Family dinner there Friday, so I'm going to see. Because I think they have craps and roulette now, or at least they're getting it.
Well, they're getting it. They're getting it.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you know that Tampa Hard Rock is the least winning casino in the entire United States of America?
Probably.
No, it's a fact, bro.
Probably.
They
fuck the Hard Rock.
Well, it's only because there's no gaming regulations. Like if you go to Vegas, all the hotels
technically not the U.S.
And the casinos have to abide by gaming regulations, which gives
that's
people
Seminole
a chance.
Land, dog.
No, I know that's why they.
They're like, how are we make $1 million today? We're like, all right, no slots, pay out anything for 3 hours, and then we got our $1 million.
and then their bullshit. They put it on a fucking billboard. One jackpot pays out every 1 minute. It's like, well, I've been there for plenty of minutes. I've never seen one person hit a jackpot.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, what's one of your goals here in Tampa? I know you said, hey, I want to help a lot of small business. I want to help Tampa develop. What's one of your goals here? I mean, is it to have like a McGinnis high tower, like a tower or something like that?
I think we're just continue growing the real estate lending business. I don't ever want to leave here. I want to be here, forever. I also have a car business that I'm expanding. I have a bunch of classic cars that I kind of rent out. So, expand that for sure. But really just see the city grow and keep on the same trajectory as it is. I mean, Tampa's kicking ass. Every year it's bigger and badder and better. So it's doing its own thing, and I think it will continue to do so.
Wasn't this like one of the most moved to cities in the entire United States? I think you had that stat, didn't you?
Like it was also the most inflated city in the whole fucking United States.
Yeah.
We're at like 13.2 inflation rate. And that's like 14% in groceries. I mean, 12% in housing.
But you can see why, right?
Yeah. But we were getting a discount for so long. We were living too cheap for a while. We
were.
I got different tickets at the Rays, and like if you get those tickets at New York, you're paying like $5,000 a pop. Here it's like $175.
Yeah,
right?
But it's the motherfucking rate.
Yeah, it's true. You got a good point.
First of all, we got to drive over the Howard Franklin.
Yeah,
I know they're building that new bridge. I mean, I get that part, but like It's in St. Petersburg.
I know. I was disappointed when they announced.
I thought it was going to be Ybor City.
Yeah.
That would have kind of
Sure.
like cleaned up Ybor City a little bit. You know,
It was supposed to be in Gasworks, man.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
That would have been awesome.
I would even go to the games. I mean, I don't really like baseball, but after they sped up the time, where now the pitcher's got I think it's like 20 seconds or
20 seconds.
Yeah, 20 seconds. I mean that
Friday night, if it's a 5-minute Uber down there, you can get tickets out front for cheap. You go hang out there instead of a bar. You know, go catch the game. But nobody's going to St. Pete.
No. And going into the ticket sales, I know you did some of that. I see it here and there as far as like doing sales for different events. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I have a suite at Amelie, so it comes with 40 tickets. So I don't need them all. You know, so I'm always selling off the extras. They hook me up pretty good there. It's all open bar and everything. It's a fun suite. Good. It's not the
Chase Club, right?
No, it's usually Heritage Lounge, but it's just a private group.
But it's like 40. So when you sell 40 tickets, you get 40 tickets to this suite. That means you could sell them to like 40 different people, and it's 40 different people in this suite.
That are not going to know each other.
It's just our crew, though, you know. So it's not that there's anything wrong with hanging out with strangers, but it's like our group. It's fun. And again, it's open bar everyone, so everyone's just getting pretty lit and having a good time, whether it be for concerts
and it's free food, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like a good place to.
Well, it's not free, right?
Network, right?
Well,
yeah, it's great networking. I a lot of my business clients will be there, and it's fun. It's good.
And that's for every single game for the Lightning and concerts, or is it just concerts?
No, I don't want the hassle of doing every game. So I pretty much just do all the concerts, and then when playoffs and finals roll around with hockey, I'll do it there too.
So do you get concert tickets?
Yeah. It's almost all concerts.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I don't have to take the stuff I don't want, right? So if it's like,
wasn't Dave Chappelle up there?
Yeah,
so you got the tickets because you own the suite?
Exactly.
So no shit.
But if it's Disney on Ice, I don't want to do Disney on Ice. I don't have to.
But what I'm saying is that because you pay for the suite, they give you all the tickets throughout the entire year, right?
No, I can pass on the ones I don't want to, but I have first right basically for whatever shows.
But do you have to pay for those tickets as well?
Yeah, you pay per show.
Oh, okay.
So you got to pay. All 40, you got to get those if you say, hey, I'm going to do this event.
Yep.
Okay.
So they're not just saying, okay, you pay a yearly fee.
No.
And boom, here you go.
It's basically, hey, Ryan, this show's coming up. Do you want it? Yes or no? And
Did you go to Dave Chappelle?
Yeah.
Was it fucking hilarious?
Yeah, it was great.
It
was great.
Is it true they don't allow you to bring your cell phone in? You have to leave it somewhere or whatever it may
100% true, but since we were in the suite, we broke our cell phones out of the thing. So don't sue me, Dave. But
in the suite, you get to do whatever you want.
Yeah, but you didn't post any of the videos, so yeah.
No, I did.
Oh, no, you did?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But so how much do the tickets run? I mean, does it depend on what event it is?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, usually 200 to 300,
that's not bad.
No,
man.
For food and drinks and everything included. It's usually cheaper to get that suite ticket than it would be with the fees and everything to get any other lower ticket or any other ticket.
Yeah, because
really.
you know how much a fucking beer
and I'm not jacking them
Emily
up. Like I'm just want everybody to have fun. So, there's not.
I got to hit up Ryan now.
Yeah,
when I have one of those, my wife's going to be like, we don't go on any fucking date nights. Well, okay, bitch, I'm going to take you to Dave Chappelle. You didn't do that shit.
But you said that though, right?
Yeah.
You said bitch.
No, I didn't say bitch. Yeah, honey, I didn't say
Yeah, we ain't cutting that out.
That was somebody else on the back. So, Ryan, what do you see?
Oh, shit, we got 30 seconds.
Oh, we got 30 seconds. All right, we'll be right back with Ryan here in a second. All right. Welcome back to Happy Hour Holidays. We're here with Ryan McGuinness. Hey, Ryan, so how do you prioritize your mental and physical, like, daily? going completely off.
Chad GPT is awesome, man.
Fuck you. No, because, I mean, even people that become successful, people that are trying to get to that point, they're like, hey, how does he prioritize mental, physical to have that energy to become successful every single day? So how do you kind of like put together, what's a day in Ryan's life?
Getting up early.
Yeah, like at 5 a.m., right? 4:30 or something like that?
My alarm's set for 6, but I'm almost always up before that.
Yeah.
Like I said, discipline is key. But I like it. I usually get up. I either go boxing in the morning or go to camp. They have a couple different workouts. I try to get like a 7 a.m. workout in before I head to the office. If you cut out the bullshit, you have time for everything. People say, "Oh, I don't have time," and well, pull up your phone. Let me look at your Instagram time. Because it can show you that, and it's 4.5 hours a day on Instagram, right? 20% of your entire life is scrolling on Instagram, and I see, maybe that's what you want to do, and that's totally fine, but you always have time for what you want. And I think it just comes down to discipline and making goals and setting your priorities and sticking to it and weeding out the just waste and things that you don't necessarily need.
You know, I like this topic. How about you walk us through a day in the life of Ryan McGuinness? How many hours do you sleep? And then once you wake up, you go to the boxing camp, you know, you do your 7 a.m. workout. What are you doing after that?
Yeah. So I get a lot of sleep. I go to bed early. I try to go to bed between like 9 and 10.
That's me.
I get up between, 5 and 6, 5:30, 6 o'clock. I head to the office. I'm at the office by 8:45 every day.
Where's the office at?
Ybor.
Yep.
Where
do you live?
Davis Island.
Davis Island?
Yep.
Okay.
So
Any other questions?
No, I'm trying to get a geographical reference.
5 minutes away.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
And the boxing's down there, camp's there. So it's all right there. Get to the office, kind of see what we have as far as deals. So, when you're a conventional bank, you're kicking a file around for 30 days before you do anything. Somebody's calling us because they're moving down Friday and it's Wednesday and they got their family in a U-Haul and their dog in a U-Haul and their kids in a U-Haul and they sold their house in Virginia and they're moving in on Friday. And the bank just calls them and says, hey, you spent too much money last month on your credit card. We're not doing your loan anymore. So they're calling us like, hey, you got to close this loan in 2 days. So all those fires per se, which I like it, I enjoy it, I love it every day. We're seeing we got to approve the loan first of all. Then I got to get a lending partner on it, right? Who's going to provide the capital for that? So that's kind of the day in and out. I'll try to go hit Powerhouse Gym at some point too, and then come back and kind of do the end of day of the same type of stuff with work.
So at the end of the day, what do you do then? Because that sounds like you're working up until a certain amount, but I mean, you go to sleep at like 9 or 10, right?
Yeah. So usually I'm out of the office by 4 or 5. Sometimes I work out in the evening too. I know we're getting a lot of workouts in, but try to be healthy. Yeah. Or a lot of times I'll have like a dinner, like a business dinner or
networking or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Something after hours.
Yeah. But when it comes to like cold calling and stuff like that, do you still like kind of prospect business or is it all referrals at this point?
It's all referral based. It's tough. We're such a tight market that really they need to have a need for us. So we've never really cold called. We've always done referral based. We've never advertised $1 in our business.
That's what I was going to ask you next.
Again, that person that's coming down and their conventional bank screws them per se. If Bank of America closed that loan on Friday, they wouldn't go screaming, "Oh, Bank of America is awesome. It was supposed to happen, right? You didn't think anything about it." But when we save that loan on Friday, they're telling everybody about it. And the realtor who was about to make no commission is telling everybody. And the title company that was about to make no money and the attorney that was working on the file, they're all kind of spreading our word for us. So that's how things have really scaled up.
Brian, would you say just to yourself, if you're looking in the mirror, I've made it? Or would you say there's still more to do?
It's really funny because if I take a step back and I look at who I am and who I've become, I guess, I've made it. Yeah. But in the moment, I don't think like that, right? In the moment, I'm always looking to that next goal or next thing or that growth. And I hope that never ends, right? I hope I keep going and going and going. But if I look at a year ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I'd be really happy with the things that have happened. And, you just keep working towards that and it will happen.
So what is the next goal?
More money. I don't know.
Hey, how about taking a page from Mr. Joe Redner?
What does he say?
Own strip clubs.
I got a partner.
You know who Joey Redner is, right?
Of course. Yeah. So one of my lending partners owns across the street, 2001. We got to plug them too if we're going to plug Redner.
That's right.
But those businesses are headaches. I like lending because it's not a headache. I love my borrowers. We work together. We can scale it, and it's really nice. So I'm all about having a big company, but not having the headaches possibly associated with a lot of businesses.
Have you invested in businesses other than the meat market, of course? Have you invested in other businesses where you're like, okay, this has a potential to be $1 billion business or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm invested in an options trading company. I have been in for probably close to 10 years now. A buddy of mine, Jack, is behind that. And that would be one of those companies that if and when it's successful will be a huge multiplier. There's no like, okay, it's going to be a 2x return on this, right? It's either going to be bought out or go crazy 10, 20, 30, 100x or bust.
So essentially by saying investing, what you did was give him your money in order for him to invest in options?
So he created an algorithm that kind of trades options for you. And this is, now that's becoming more mainstream and
AI
and a buzzword kind of, but imagine 10 years ago he was doing this stuff. I mean, the guy's a genius. And he kind of has created this thing where you input different inputs to the system and it kind of trades based on you. Yeah, based on what you want to do.
So then you have like high lows that you dictate and then
there's a bunch of different parameters that you would do and then it trades for you and makes you money. So
that's a tough one, man. The options trading.
They have those all over social media. I see them all the time. I'm like, yo, is that shit legit or not?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you should know.
I mean, I'm not sure. I really don't have an answer.
Is he giving you a payback or not?
Not yet, but soon.
But soon, yeah.
Knock on wood on that one.
What do you think about the stock? Oh, what do you think about crypto? How about that, man?
I was never a fan. I've never owned any crypto. I think there's uses for it, right? Like banks are a pain in the ass to deal with. You want to go send a wire, you got to deal with somebody that doesn't know how to send a wire and all that stuff. It'd be really nice, like, hey, I want to send a transaction to you. I send it and it's gone. So there's value in it for there. But the guy that was buying, 10 grand of fucking Dogecoin to be a billionaire, like, get wiped out. Like, all those people. And I was looking like the idiot for a while because all my friends were making all the money and they're like, you need to get in this. And I'm like, no. And they're the ones buying the Lamborghini. And then now, that's reality.
It was kind of like the whole GameStop thing, right?
Or NFTs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. I bought a couple, but nothing like people were buying. I mean, some people did make like 40 grand or something like that. But this guy, I was trying to tell him, hey, you should buy some real estate. He's like, no, I'm going to hold on to the NFTs. I've already made 2 or 40 grand on one, and then I got made like 5 or 6. And I was like, you should probably buy a couple rental properties because he was asking me, and I was like, you need to probably cash that out.
Because real estate goes up.
Yeah.
NFTs
will do it.
So I was on another show before, and I didn't name drop this guy, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now and embarrass him a little bit. My buddy Dapo, he buys this NFT for like 40 grand, and I'm like, dude, you're a moron. You're a moron.
A digital picture.
Correct. Sells it for like $400,000 to Odell Beckham, I believe.
No shit. Okay,
yeah,
so he's a smart guy.
You can fact check. Yeah, so I'm the moron, right? I'm the moron. He turned 40 into 400. I'm an idiot. He's laughing all the way. I'm like, I'm just dumb, I guess. Then he sells that. He buys another one for $600 though. So he buys $600,000 for this picture, and
it goes to zero.
He thinks it's busted. He if you asked him today, he would probably say it's worth like 50 or 100,000, but I don't even think it's worth that.
No,
damn. So that means he lost like 300.
Yeah, right. If you net
which means that what he should have done was bought real estate
or invested in our our lending partners, and he is a lending partner of mine too, and he sees the value in that now. But all these people put all this money in shit, and even if you invest in a company and you make 3x, 4x your money years down the road, the compound interest, this is crazy, all right? $100,000. You put $100,000 in a 12% note. So you make 12% a year for 30 years. Now, I realize that's a long time, but people with kids, right, if they could set aside $100,000, they can make a trust fund for their kid to get when they're 30. Give you how much each want you to make a guess. 12% a year. How much is it after 30 years?
After 30 years?
Yep. You're good with numbers.
Oh, yeah, I am. Around $5 million?
Yeah, maybe like 7.
$3.2 million.
All right.
So a $100,000 investment turns to $3.2 million after 30 years at 12%. So it's like, what the hell else do you want, right?
Somebody's going to be...
Let me ask you a question. Is that how it works at RPM?
Yeah, because
so you are willing to take those kinds of capital contributions?
So we take lending partners, and then we take a servicing fee, and we net.
What's the servicing fee? Because you said 12%, but that
so they end up with around 10%, plus or minus, depending on the deal, is what the lending partner does annual return.
Do you actively seek capital investment from people? I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it's been a natural progression, in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's better than the Dow Jones, bro.
Oh, for sure. And think about this. So let's just say the Dow is at 35,000, okay? And on average, we're about just above 50% loan to value, LTV. So meaning that if the houses are 90 million, right, of our loans, if everything got cut in half, we would still be at par on our notes. Jeez. So we would still be about $90 million in assets. Now, the Dow, if you buy it at 35,000, or some ETF that you can buy it,
Yeah.
and that goes to 17.5, you lost half your money. You lost 50% of your actual. Now maybe you don't sell then or whatever, but really your dollar has just decreased by 50%.
So essentially, investing in RPM is way better because the Dow Jones is only like a 5% or 8% return over a period of 30 years, right?
With a downside risk, yes. The average,
with the downside risk,
and you're
because you own all the collateral essentially
at 50, 60 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
So if there's a downturn, you're fine. You're
you mean 70 cents on the dollar
max, but average is about 57.
So people are putting 50% down on.
Yes, on average, if you take our whole $90 million portfolio, they put an average of 43% down.
Holy shit, bro!
Yeah, so there's huge protections for us.
Take my money.
Send the wire. Send the wire. Send the crypto.
Well, what's the minimum amount that you require for lending partners?
100,000.
100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is not a bad idea.
I tell everybody start small.
When do the lending partners receive a return on their money?
Every month. So as the mortgage is paid, they're getting that dividend every single month,
regardless if the money has been lent or not, right?
Well, they're only lending the money if the money's lent. We don't pull anybody's money. So when I'm getting money from you, you're going in that specific deal. You know you're in this exact house. You know exactly what you're getting in, and then once that deal pays off, you get all your principal back. But you've been getting interest all along the way.
Is the lender also the lending partner also on the title of the property?
So we're not on title because we're lenders, but we're
a lien holder.
Correct, lien holders, okay. And then they're in as a participant of that lien. Correct.
Okay.
Does RPM also hold assets like? Meaning ones that you actually invest in.
This is a hedge fund, right?
Yeah, you have like not ones that somebody's flipping, just ones that you guys go, hey, this is a good deal. We're going to keep it under our portfolio
for real estate.
Yeah, for real estate.
You know, you can't beat the return of the 12%, right? Because obviously there's no servicing fee to myself. Yeah. So maybe I can go get a rental and make an 8%, a 10% return, and deal with somebody calling me in the middle of the night saying, hey, the cockroach is running across my floor. Can you send this guy out? Or the water's broken and I got water over. So why would I want to work harder and make a less return? Where that model does work.
But it's for equity, though. At least the equity does grow.
So where I was going to say is where that model does work is in 2009, say we get back to some crazy low prices, then you're participating in that upside of equity. But I think everybody would agree there's probably not going to be a huge run up in real estate pricing over the next couple of years, right? Maybe down, maybe flat, but I don't think we're going to see another up 50% over the next couple of years. So you're not really missing out on the equity.
Has RPM thought about buying businesses?
Again, too much work, too much headache. And when things go wrong...
You're a portfolio manager.
Yeah, but when things go wrong in the business, I don't want to go get widgets and try to sell the widgets and deal with it. When things go wrong on a house... I have an asset sitting there at 50 cents on the dollar. So basically it's like, hey, do you want a 40% off coupon on this house if things go wrong? If things go right, then everybody's smooth.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, how about you leave us with some last words to our final words?
Final words, last words, or words of motivation.
Or words of motivation to our audience, things that would inspire them to, become better than what they are currently right now.
Sure. My number one thing, and everybody can do this and almost nobody does, is do 100% of what you say you're going to do. And it could be very simple, like meet me for coffee at 11 o'clock. I'm going to be there at 10:55 every single time in case there's traffic. I'm always showing up on time. That shows respect to the person. If I show up at 11:15, to me, that means I didn't really respect their time because they just wasted 15 minutes of their time waiting on me. So you could start off small like that, but that same thing goes into our core values of our business. When we approve a loan and we say we're closing it on Friday, it is going to get closed on Friday without a doubt. There will never be an exception. We always do 100%. And I think anybody can do that, starting small, going big.
You know what's funny about what you just said is that me and my brother were out there and I was like, yo, bro, everybody that's super successful always shows up early. Always shows up early.
Yep.
Because we had a lawyer on here. His episode hasn't aired yet. And the guy showed up 20 minutes early. And I was like, oh, shit. Because typically what we're used to is guests showing up like right on time or later.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit. All right. So Ryan showed up on time. Ben Stronzel showed up on time. And, he's a named partner at a lawyer firm. But that's a fact, man. That's a fact. What would you contribute or what would be the contributing key to your success, would you say? Would it be relationships? Would it be self-motivation, perseverance, consistency?
I think
What
it's
would you
discipline.
say?
100% discipline. Just growing up with that, my dad always instilled that with us, and just carried on. And I enjoy it. It's not discipline in a negative sense to me. I like it, right? I like going to work. I like doing that. I like going to the gym. Things that people maybe have a negative tone to them. Oh, I got to go to the gym. Oh, I got to go to work. Oh, I got to get up at this time. I love it. I'll eat it all up all day long. That's the difference is finding a way to enjoy the things that you have to do anyways. Almost everybody has to work. Everybody hopefully has to wake up in the morning. Not everybody has to work out, but I think it's beneficial. So all those things, turning them into a positive spin versus a dread that some people have.
Would you say your network is your net worth?
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Being able to call somebody for a deal for money and he just wires it, that's a huge factor in our business, right?
Yeah.
College degree, not to knock that, is not going to get me that, right? If you can get $1 million from somebody via a text, that's really going to put you a long way versus really busting your ass.
I wanted to ask you this question and I didn't. Who is the most influential person in your life that you regularly interact with?
So I would say my father, and then I work with my 2 brothers too, and we get along great. Sometimes people hear, "Oh, you work with your brothers," like that's yeah, exactly. How do you do it? You fight all day, and we all have a good part or bad part of us that just works perfectly for the business. So got a good family. And I think that was very, very key to success.
From Long Island.
That's it.
Long Island. Let me get some coffee. I don't know. I've never been to New York. I just figured. We got like 43 seconds, bro.
All right, well,
bring it in.
Yeah, we want to thank Ryan McGuinness for coming in, man.
Yes,
thank you so
bro.
much, man. We really appreciate
it.
it. We love the episode. If you guys are out there, you guys want to ask Ryan any questions or are interested in actually getting hard money, RPM Realty, is there any other place they can find you?
Instagram, Mr. McGinnis for personal, or at RPM Realty INV for the business.
We're going to be tagging that.
Yeah, 100%.
All of that.
So like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to those 2 platforms. And thank you so much for tuning in. Peace out.